Hello, this is Elaine with Elaine's Custom Cards, and this is the card we're going to be making today. I'm using the, I wrote it down here, Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper for this. I thought it was really pretty, and I wanted to see if I could make something where I'm using several pieces of it, and I thought this turned out pretty well. So I'll have all the sizes and dimensions on my blog. I'll try to say them as I go through this, but anyway, before I get into the card, I want to tell you who won the card from last week, and it was the get this out. It was all these pieces to make your own card. And it looked like, let me see which card it was here. It was this card. So, Lori Hill won the card kit. And if you will send me your address, just email it to me at elainescustomcards@gmail.com. I will mail you your card kit. I really appreciate your comments and that you're watching. So this week, the card kit will be this one. You'll have to actually have this stamp set, which is Merriest Moments, and the dies that go with it. You can buy it as a bundle, and that's how I created these flowers, was by using that. And I used it for the greetings, and let's see, what else did I use it for? Stamp the inside. The dots came from here. And these leaves, the sentiments, and then these two pieces came from the Christmas trimmings dies, this one and this one. And then this one came from a new set that you can order on November 1st. As a customer or as a demonstrator, you can order it now. And these are the Eden dies, and I use this one and this one. And I think that's all I used on this besides the paper. So anyway, let's get started on the card. I have everything cut and stamped because it's just easier for me. So the card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then I stamped the greeting with Evening Evergreen, and then the flower is stamped with Cherry Cobbler, and I stamped it once, turned it, stamped it again. This is Soft Succulent, and then the dots are Daffodil Delight, and the center is Daffodil Delight. And I did the envelope the same way. It looks the same as the inside of the card. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is take our piece of Evening Evergreen. It's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and a piece of the Designer Series paper. It's Soft Succulent on one side, and then several colors on the other side. And this piece is 5 1/4 by 4. So, oops, I want that end open. So let's go ahead and start gluing this together. I always stamp the inside of my card if I'm stamping directly onto the cardstock before I put the pieces on there, just in case I mess it up. Then I can use that and turn the card over sometimes. Anyway, I'm almost always stamp the inside of my card before I glue everything to the front. Okay, then this is a piece of evening evergreen that's 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And this is another piece of the DSP, and it's the soft succulent and white. And this one is 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. And we're going to glue this to the front of the evening evergreen piece. Like this. Now some of this paper seems to be directional. This piece in particular looks like it's got some direction to it. So kind of watch that when you cut it out. And then I'm going to take this and glue it to the front of this. Now I didn't put any ribbon on this. Normally I'll put ribbon on things, but I decided not to put any ribbon on this one. So I'm just going to center that on the front of this piece here. Okay? Then I'm going to take these two pieces. This is soft succulent, 4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. This is another piece of the Designer Series paper. And this piece is 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. So we're just going to glue this. Now you can use dimensionals on any of these pieces that you want. My purpose was to try to make somewhat of a flat card because it's getting pretty expensive to mail Christmas cards. If you were going to hand this to somebody, then by all means, you know, use dimensionals if you want. I just didn't. So now we're going to center this on the front. This Designer Series paper has some Misty Moonlight in it. I haven't tried it making anything with it yet. Okay, now we're going to take our embellishments that I made, and I cut or die cut these out of the gold foil. This is just a piece of the basic white, and it is 2 1/2 by 1/2 inch. I stamped it and then cut it down to this size so it fit in here. And then for these, you need a piece that's about 4 inches by 2 inches or so to stamp these. I stamped them with the cherry cobbler. And then you can use glue dots on the center of this. I just use glue, if I can get it to come out. So I glued these together and I staggered it like this. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to move that aside so it can dry. And then I took these pieces, if you can see what I did here. I took this one, and I just used glue. You can use glue dots. I just used a dab of glue on each of the leaves, like so, and just a little dab right there on the tip of that so it would stay down. Put it over here. And I took this one, and I cut it so it's shorter than what the die is. The die has a really long piece on it. I just trimmed it because I don't want it that long. And then I just put a little dab of glue on each one of these little berries. I think I did. I don't know if I can even see it coming out, but I think there's a little glue there. I don't want very much, just a dab, and a little dab right there. And then I put this one right here. And you can cut more of this off if you want. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be underneath the flower. Then I took this one. These are very delicate, especially when you cut them out of the gold foil for some reason. And I put a little dab of glue on each one of these. A little bit right there. Okay. Then I kind of laid this down on here so I'd know where I wanted this to go. And I wanted it kind of, let's move this like that. Kind of right about there. Okay. And then I took a Stampin' Dimensional and put it on the back of my flower, just like so. And then I took my fingernail and curled these flowers just a little. It makes it look a little more realistic. And then put it about like so, kind of centered. Then I took my metallic gold pearls and I put 3 in the center of this flower. And you can certainly stamp the center of this if you want. I just like the way these gold dots looked. The center. There's that. And then I took my label. I stamped this with Evening Evergreen. Put it right in the center of this gold, just like so. Oops, it's very slippery. Let that dry a little bit. I'll set that aside so it can dry. And I took this, and you can put this up on dimensionals if you want. And I just glued it to the front of my card. Just like so. Okay. And I took my label, treated it very carefully because these ends are fragile. I ended up having to put a very skinny piece of Stampin' Dimensional on the back of this one here because it was wanting to come off. And I put 4 dimensionals on the back of this so it would be more stable. And if you want to put a dimensional on the back of this, you could. You just have to be really careful that you don't bend it, because the gold is pretty fragile. And then I just kind of centered the greeting across here. And you can put it wherever you want on here. I just about right there. Just want it even. Okay, that's your card for today. So please leave me some comments, subscribe, and like my video. And I will do a drawing next week to see who gets the card kit. You'll have to provide your own stamp set, and what you're going to need to purchase to make this card like I made it will be this stamp set, Stamps and Dies, and it's called the Merriest Moments Bundle. It's the dies, or the dies and the stamps, and the dies are like this. And then there's also, it comes with a embossing folder. Looks like this, so that you can emboss when you cut this out. You can emboss this frame right here, and then you can cut it out and emboss it, or you can just emboss it after you cut it out with this. And then this is a separate little frame. Anyway, it's my card for this week. The Eden dies and stamp set. The paper, I don't have that. Eden's Garden is this, and then there's paper and embellishments also. And as a demonstrator, you can purchase these now. If you're just a customer, you can purchase them starting November the 1st. And you can go to my online store, elainescustomcards.stampinup.net, and sign up as a demonstrator. And or next month you can purchase this. And if you want to be my customer, go to my website and you can purchase these materials now if you wish. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. All the sizes and dimensions, like I said, will be on my blog, so you can find that there. I can't think of anything else that I forgot to tell you. All these products are current, so they're purchasable. So you have a blessed day and have fun stamping.